Good morning, everyone, and welcome to 2-Minute Tips, where we concentrate on beauty from both the inside and the out, looking our best always, no matter what our situation is. Today, we're going to be doing make betters, and with contestants 11 and 12. And then we're going to be talking about how much makeup do we really need? And of course, followed by our usual Q&A. Now, if I could just get a thumbs up from anybody just to know that you're here, that would be fabulous, and that you can hear me and see me okay. I know that before there was a problem with some echoing, so I want to just make sure that that's all okay for everybody. So if you could just let me know, that would be great. Okay, one person has a thumbs up, so I'm assuming that you can hear me and see me okay, and that everything is good to go. Alrighty, so today, like I said, make betters. How much makeup do we really need? So I'm going to show you what I use from my stash and what is helpful for a lot of people to keep it simple and easy. All right, so let's just jump right into how much makeup is too much. I just have to move something out of the way here. There we go. Sounds great on my end. Thank you, Lori. Okay, how much makeup do we really need? Well, are you ready? Let's get started. Only 4 eyeshadows. That is it. Yep, only 4. A black, a Coquette by MAC, I like the MAC eyeshadows because they're finely milled and they have great payoff, okay? They have really great payoff. They last you a long time. And if you buy them in the pan, they're only $7. So that makes it, very, very, very competitive with any drugstore brand. My eye is weeping today, so I'm going to be doing this from time to time, part of my aging process. Now, there's a couple of ways you can carry these pans. One is in a little quad pack that MAC also sells that is really simple and easy, good for traveling, and it's all there. It's just so simple. Now, another way you can do it, depending on your lifestyle, is I use a makeup palette. And again, you can get these from MAC. And I put my foundations in. If you look at the bottom, the big round ones are, of course, they're all round, but the big ones are my foundations. The one on your far, I guess it would be your far left, is my actual foundation powder. The one next to it is 2 shades lighter, and the one in the far corner is 2 to 3 shades darker. That's all I use for everything, unless, of course, I need to have a concealer, which I'll show you in a moment. But in here, I've got the 4. I have a couple of extra eyeshadows, and I have a pink blush, and I have an orange eyeshadow that I use as a blush. You could use pink eyeshadows as well, too. But, putting them all in a pan or carrying those quad packs is really a great way to go. So next, if you need a concealer, I have found, after I test drove MAC, and I think it was Forever, their HD wear, I decided to stay with the MAC Pro Longwear. Now, I rarely wear it, but sometimes I need it. And if you do, then you'll need a little concealer brush to go with it. And that only needs to be a small, tiny dome brush, synthetic dome brush. Really simple. I'll show you in a couple of minutes because I have the same thing exactly for the gel liner. And you just put that on just where you need it. It's not one of these things where you cover under your eyes and you conceal under your brow and on top of your brow. No. At this stage, ladies, that's not what we need. Just simple, easy, and one of these will last you a long time. Now, you know what I do with things like this? I decant them and I put some into a smaller container so that I'm not constantly using that one, which could dry out and the pump gets stuck and all that sort of thing. So I put one into a small container that I use when I need to use concealer. So, and that's pretty small and pretty easy to carry. The next thing is brushes. A concealer brush is what you need, for small coverage, and a small dome brush would work the same as with your gel liner. You need a couple of flat angled brushes, one for your eyebrows, one for your liner, 2 fluff brushes, 2 detailed brushes, 1 makeup brush, and 1 dome makeup or foundation brush, and a sponge. And then, of course, you have, let me just pull this up here, if you're wearing eyelashes, then you want your glue. Always carry some scissors, a manicure scissors, and some tweezers. And that's about it. That's really about it. If we go back to the brushes, you'll notice too that all mine, except for 2, are short-handled, because if you're using a magnifying mirror, then you want a short-handled brush, because a long handle would just get in the way. You won't be able to get as close to the magnifying mirror as what you'd like to. Okay. All right, now where are we? We've done that one. Now here is for your gel liner. Now you can either use the gel in a pot like the fluid line from MAC or Bobbi Brown, and there's that little dome brush that I apply it with. It's very tiny. Let me see if I've got it right here so I can show you, because sometimes pictures on screen can be a little bit deceiving. But if I show you the actual brush on my face, you may have a better idea. Okay, so there's the size of it. You see how small, how tiny that is? I'm going to do, in a future live stream, I'm going to do a demonstration on how I apply gel liner with the actual gel, because some people are having a little bit of trouble with it. Now, on the other hand, Almay gel pencil for those who live in the States, and Annabelle Smoothliner gel pencil for those that live in Canada. And I'm not sure about the rest of the world, ladies. I'm sure you can get either one online. That's all you need. Okay, as far as your waterline enhancement is concerned. So now let's see what we have next. Next is mascara or lashes, whichever you use to or choose to use, or sometimes I do both, but rarely. Depending on your lifestyle, depending on what your needs are, you will use either one or both of these. And you want to make sure that you have the glue that I showed you earlier, the Dual Lash Adhesive, Duo, D-U-O. Lash adhesive is the best for lashes. And I really like the L'Oreal Double Extend Tube Mascara. Not a great delivery system. It's not that great, but it really is a good product for wear. And it washes off beautifully. It applies pretty good, and it has staying power. And after you've finished your makeup, you can curl your lashes again, and they will stay pretty well. So that's that part of things. Now, getting to lipsticks, all you need is about 5 or 6 colors. This is one combination I'm showing you of you want warm, and you want cool, and you want true. Warm, I'm wearing warm today. I'm wearing 115. That's Forever Chestnut, and I'm wearing 110 over top on the bottom, and that's Timeless Toffee. Now, because the Forever Chestnut has a little bit of a shimmer in it, but it's such a great color, I go with a red after I've applied it. Go with a red and just kind of go along where the roll is with a matte red liquid to cover over that roll so it doesn't show. Okay, so these are little tricks, and we can talk about that again some other time. But what you want basically is a medium and or dark, let's say cool. So your All Day Cherry and Perpetual Plum would be great. And then a highlight for that would be So Pearly Pink. In the center picture, we have Flame, which is a true red. It can go either way. Okay, if you put a warm highlight on it, it will look warm. If you put a cool highlight on it, it will look cool. And in the bottom picture here, we have the same red with Timeless Toffee number 150 over it. Okay, now I have another picture of some lip colors here. I wanted to show you this. I found this in my little stash of pictures. This is All Day Cherry number 015 on the top, and notice I haven't filled in. I've just outlined the lips with it. Then I put Perpetual Plum number 55 over top of it. And do you see how the color changes? But it's a little stronger than the Perpetual Plum on its own. And then I added the 110 at the bottom. But I have to tell you, ladies, 6 colors is about all anybody needs. I mean it. So no need to have a big stash of lip colors, truly. All right, and then where do you put all these things? In a little makeup bag. There is a travel one that I have, there's a travel one that I have that I've shown before where I keep just a few brushes and I take a highlight lipstick with me in case I need it. And if I'm wearing lashes, I have a small duo glue in there in case I need it, and a small tweezer. I've got everything I need, and a compact, and 4 eyeshadows that I've shown you in another video where I just put the pans in those little gum things, and it works out really well. So that's really, really, really all anybody needs for makeup. Anything more than that is it's costly, it's excess, it's unfair to the environment, and it takes up unnecessary space. More isn't necessarily better, but less is in this case. And here's something I have to say to you, especially your concealer brush and your gel liner brush. If you're using those, then they need to be cleansed every single time after use, or you will not get the performance out of them that you need. Just take a little bit of soap or gel soap or whatever, put some on your finger, rub, with a little bit of water, rub the brush on it, clean all the stuff off, push, squeeze out the excess. It's good to go for the next time. Okay? So let's take a look and see if we have any questions about this before we go on. Good morning, Lori and Victoria and Paula and Violet and W.C. Wright and Catherine King, good morning from Maine, and Kathy Kitterman and from Arizona. And let's see, here we have a question. Let me just get this right here. Smiles, I can't put on false lashes. I have tried over and over. Any suggestions? Shaping my eyebrows. If I remove too many hairs, will they grow back? Well, good questions. Let's take a look at the first one, okay? False lashes. I've got a few videos on that. I would suggest that you go to the search on this channel and just put false lashes, and a number of videos will come up on the false lashes, and I show you how to do it. You want to make sure you're not putting on too much glue, just a little bit, and you want to put it on in the center first, and you use tweezers. Some people can do them with fingers, but it's not as precision. And if you can do it that way, great. But if you can't, then I strongly suggest you use tweezers. So you put the center and then put down the inside, put down the outside, and then you squeeze both your lash and the false lash together at the outside end, in the center, and in the center. All that's shown on the video. So I would suggest that you look those up, and you will find some help for sure in the videos. Now, for shaping your eyebrows, if I remove too many hairs, will they grow back? Here's the thing, ladies. When you remove hair, you have to also add hair where it's supposed to go. If you're just tweezing and not shaping as you go, you will not get the correct perspective. And before you start to tweeze, it's essential that you draw your guidelines on first, and that you take a selfie and look at that selfie and make sure that the guidelines are proportional and in the right place. And if you've had brow guidelines from me, that they're essentially in the same place. Remember, when you remove a hair, you gotta add a hair. Remove a hair, add a hair. Okay? I hope that helps. And again, in the search box, there's plenty of videos on brows. Okay? And Jessica, good day from McAllen, Texas. Well, good day to you too. That sounds Australian. It does. And Smile says, some red shades of Maybelline will, I'm not sure, I think stay on. I'm not sure. Some shades are better than others. If it's got shimmer in the color, it won't stay as well as a matte. That's for sure. So if you're buying shimmer lips, and ladies, I don't know how to encourage you to resist buying shimmer products, especially shimmer lips. You will get sheen from the balm that you put on. You will get that 3D look by using a lighter color just in the center. Believe me, it's not the best look for our age and stage, and especially when we have to correct our lips. Like I have to correct mine quite a bit. It's only with practice, that it gets good, but I make sure that I use matte colors and just highlight in the center. So that will help if you don't use the shimmer lip colors. And I believe that it will last longer for you. And let's see, Karen, hi from California. Well, hello there. And Rebecca Kue, thank you. You're welcome, Rebecca. All right, and some shades will. Oh, that's. I've already read that. Liz, I have a wide face. Should I apply blush to the apples of the cheeks? No. The apples. Okay, here's the thing. When we're told, if you're going to add blush to the apples of your cheek, you smile and put it here. Well, when your face drops down, it ends up down here. Too often I see, it's different when you're younger. But too often I see you apply, look at what would happen if I put it here. Look where it ends up. You want to put it here because it helps to lift the face just a little bit too. And you don't want to go past your pupil. You want it on the outside, like a C shape. Think of that. As far as a wide face is concerned, Liz, then consider using a contour on the sides of your face, down the sides. I have to see the shape of your face, but consider doing that. A contour, not a bronzer. Bronzers and contours are different. Bronzers have shimmer in them, and we don't want that. If you get either the MAC Studio Fix powder foundation or the Barelle dual finish powder, they don't have any shimmer in them whatsoever. But get one that's 2 shades, maybe 3 shades lighter than your actual foundation, and that should solve your problem for you. Okay. And Victoria Knotts, I absolutely love the Barelle Dual Finish Powder. Yes, I use number 41. Do you know what number would be 2 shades lighter? 39 looks too dark. Oh, I would go number 40. Number 40 is fairly light, really. Yeah, I used to wear 41, way back in another life. That's how long I've been wearing this product. It's a great color. Try number 40. And if you find that it's not light enough, remember to add just a matte white eyeshadow. And I think MAC's Gesso is a matte white. Just mix a little bit of white eyeshadow in with the lighter foundation together, and that should do it for you. Okay, Victoria? And I'm just calling you Smiles because it's just easier. Thanks for your help. You're most welcome. And Liz Torres, thanks for your help. You're most welcome, Liz. All right, ladies. So it seems like we don't have any more questions. So how about we move on to our next contestant? And not next contestant, to our contestant. And that would be, let me see, our first contestant, and that would be number 11. We have this femme fatale. This is her before picture, and she's got great curly hair, and she's got a nice look going on about her, but with a few tweaks, we can certainly help just change the perspective of how she's presented. So let's take a look. What do we see first? Well, in this case, I think the hair stands out. Once again, lifting the circumference of the crown makes a huge difference. And that just means backcombing at the root. Okay? And just around the circumference, not the center of the top, but at the sides of the crown. And I lifted out the sides just a little bit more too. Alrighty, now let's take a look at her brows, shall we? Do you see in the before picture how they're lifted up and she almost looks like she's questioning or is a little bit surprised? Well, in the after, I brought the front ends down and lifted up the arch a bit more. Just study that for a second. Now, with her eyes, she's done a pretty good job, but I have cleaned around the eyes more. This is the thing that women seem to miss, it seems to me, is making sure that the canvas around the eyes is nice and clean and void of discoloration. So that when you add your product, it really stands out the way you would like it to. And again, the gel liner in the upper waterline, mascara, eyeshadow in the lower lash line, dropped off at the outside corner and blended in to the center, no, not past the pupil, and to the outside. And in her case, I have added, you used the, what do you call it? The hooded eye approach, and taken some Brown or Coquette, maybe a combination of both in her case, and dropped some along the lash line from about the pupil to the outside edge, and then just blended it up and out. And again, when you have a nice even skin tone around the eye, when you add the eyeshadow, it makes a big difference. Now take a look at her lips, and this is a wonderful example of a lip color. It's a lovely lip color, but it's too shiny. And look at her upper lip in the center. Do you see where the light is catching the sheen in that lip color? So if you're correcting your lips, the gig is up because people can see where your roll is. Alrighty, now all I've done was just removed that, and I have matted down her lip color a little bit more. She's done quite a nice job, and I've just defined the lower, what do you call it, lip line. I've just defined that a little bit more. Now let's take a look at her guidelines. Now you can see with her brows, and this is, this is where she will have to remove a fair bit from the top of her right and also from her left, but more from her top right. But do you see where she has to fill in underneath? And she also needs to remove or lift up the back end, remove a couple of rows at the very back end. When she's doing this, when she draws her guidelines on, then she's got to remove the hair that's above the guideline, but add in underneath. Okay? All right, so let's take a look at our bars. And we're going to take a look at each item on its own, because that seems to be a good learning tool for people. Take a look at the two sets of brows here, the before and after, and just study those for a second. And you can see The difference that that makes by just lowering that front end and adding a bit more to the arch at the top and taking out a little bit of hair underneath it. All right, now we're going to take a look at her eyes only. Now, can you see what I mean about the discoloration around her eyes in the before picture, and where the adding a bit more foundation or like stippling it on around the eyes cleans the canvas to paint. And what happens is her eyes stand out. We don't see the discoloration getting in the way. Now, when we put the brows and the eyes together, look at the difference that that makes. Just study that for a second. Alrighty, now let's go down and take a look at her lips. You may have to look fairly closely here. You can see where I've removed or matted down the color at the top center and the lower lip. Matted it down but lightened it up a little bit. You can see on the left and the right side of that intense shimmer in the center. Okay, one more look at her before and after. All right, let's see if we have any questions for contestant number 11. Cheryl says, isn't that amazing? The smallest tweaks make the biggest difference. Very beautiful. Yes, she's beautiful, isn't she? And thank you, Cheryl. Yes, you know, this is why I call them make-betters, because they're not makeovers. They're taking the person and making them the best that they can be. Every single person on the planet can be made to look their best with just a few tweaks, just a little bit. It's all it takes, seriously. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Linda Lee, wow, that's a huge difference. Yes, it is, isn't it? It's it does make a big difference with small incremental steps. It really, 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 really does. Yes. And Negro, is makeup real? I'm not sure. I think you might be asking, did I do these people personally? No, these are digital make-betters, and they're used as a teaching tool template for each person. I give people their pictures afterwards. I post them for them online, then they can download them to whatever devices that they want so that they have them to emulate. They can copy. They get a good idea of how to do it for themselves. But I have to tell you, even though I use Photoshop to do it with, I do not use Photoshop filters or anything else like that. I simply use their brushes and their colors. I apply in Photoshop as close to real life as if the person were sitting in my chair. The only other tool I use is the liquify to help with the hair. That just to lift it, that's all, because otherwise it would take me forever, and you know, I haven't got that kind of time. Anyway, yeah, that's how it's done. And so anyway, does anyone have any other questions with respect to contestant number 11? Doesn't look like it. So let's move on to contestant number 12, shall we? Whoops. What happened here? All right, here we go. All right, so here's our before picture of our contestant. And this is a blonde and very pretty woman. She's got beautiful skin tone, but got a lot of things going for her. But watch what happens when we add just a wee bit of tweakage. You see how her eyes stand out more now? And take a look at her brows. Do you see the difference that her brow makes in lifting up the front end and lowering the arch a bit? And the usual gel liner in the upper waterline, mascara and or lashes, and eyeshadow in the lower lash line at the back end, and blend it out to the pupil. Look at the difference that makes in her eyes. And of course, I treated her eye with the hooded eye approach with probably, I think I would have, in this case, I would have used Coquette, maybe mixed with a little bit of Brun, but Coquette for sure on her eyelid with the hooded eye approach, and I would have only used Coquette on her lower lash line. Now, I've taken down her blush a wee bit, just a wee bit, and I have added just a bit more foundation in the corners of her eyes, under her eyes, and across the bridge of her nose. And just a wee bit on her chin. Now what I've also done is I've taken that pink lipstick, and I know that this woman loves her pinks, but I've toned it down a little bit, added a bit of brown to it, so it's not quite so bubblegum pink, if that makes any sense. So let's take a look at the guidelines here. Now you can see in the, more so on her left because her right is fairly covered. Do you see how I've lifted up that front end a fair bit? So she has to take off a bit off the bottom, but she needs to fill in on the top front end of her brow and add and take off a little bit at the top part of her arch and add more in and extending it. Let you see that for a sec. Alrighty, let's take a look at the two of them and let's bring them closer together. And we'll bring in the bars. Now it's a little bit difficult, like I said, because she's on an angle here, but we can still tell. Can you see the difference? How pointed the brow is in the before picture. What happens with that is it can give people the wrong impression. It can make you look like you're a little bit angry or fierce or whatever. Now let's take a look at her eyes only. And again, you can see where cleaning up the skin tone around her eyes, making for an even skin tone or a clean canvas, then her eyes, become the focal point rather than it being confused with a discoloration of skin. Not that there's much, but it does make a difference. And do you notice how her eyes jump out more? They're stronger looking in the second picture. Now let's add the brows. You can see in the after picture with the front end lifted on those brows how it gives a completely different feeling about what she may be thinking. And the other thing is the color of her actual eyeball jumps out. Now, people will talk about if you've got blue eyes and you want to use a blue eyeshadow or a blue liner or a mascara. No. No, don't go that route. These neutrals are all anybody needs, no matter what their hair color is, okay? Whoops, sorry about that. Now let's go down and take a look at her lips. Can you see the difference? It's very slight, but there's a little bit more of a warm and matted look to her pink lip color. Okay, now the other thing I want to bring your attention to is take a look at the circumference of her hair. Notice how on the after picture I've over the left eyebrow. Do you see where I've lifted the hair a little bit up by the crown? And the same on the right side, I've lifted it out just a wee bit on the crown. And on the left side, do you see in the before picture how that piece of hair or bang is sticking out a bit? Well, I pushed that back in on the after picture. Okay, let's see if we have any questions for contestant number 12. Okay, let's see. Lindy, I just joined. What type of foundation did you use around the eyes? It looks great. I use the dual finish powder for everything. Dual finish powder, as is recommended on this page, or this channel, constantly. I go this route. If you watch the playback, which will be up in a while, after about an hour after we finished doing our live stream, I have to do a few technical things, and then it will be up so you can watch the replay talking about what makeup to use. I don't know about you gals, but I am sure many of you have other lives to live. You do not want to spend a lot of time doing makeup every day. If you wear makeup every day, not everybody does, but when you wear it, you want to make sure you're getting you're wearing what looks good for you, what enhances your strengths and diminishes your weaknesses. Okay, the dual finish powder is fast, easy. It's wonderful in humid weather. It is just the bomb in so many ways. Because it wears well, and when you don't have other products on underneath it, except your moisturizer, which you should always put on, and or your sun block or sunscreen underneath it, but you have to give it time to soak into the skin, and you put it on and it wears well. This is what I wear all the time. This is all I have on. I'm 73 and my skin doesn't look too bad for my age. I've got wrinkles, yes. Have I got pores? Yes. Have I got lines? Yes. And they're still there. Makeup, the foundation doesn't make it go away, but it looks pretty good for the age I'm at. What it looks like is it looks cared for. Now there's a video that I've done on foundations. Go into the search, and it was done fairly recently, and just type in the word foundation or powder foundation, and a bunch of videos will come up to help you with that. Okay. And let's see, Mr. Does it close the eyes up to place darker shade on mobile lid, or should you use light? I don't go that route at all. It depends on what you're doing. As an example, I have a lid, like I have a crease in my eye, so because this is the way my eyes are built, I use a Coquette in my crease line. But I always use a lighter color here. And what is that lighter color together, class? It's just a lighter shade of foundation that I wear on the rest of my face. I also put it, under here and down in the triangle of my face. Oh, and down the center of my nose. If you have hooded eyes, then I would recommend dropping some eyeshadow along the edge of the lash line, and then taking your brush and blending it up, a clean brush, and blending it up and out. Okay? Not everybody has what they used to call a mobile lid. I don't go by that. Go by what your eye shape is. And here's the other thing. At our stage, and I'm talking about the 45 plus gang, wearing eyeshadow in here, unless you've got exquisitely clean canvas, it tends to make us look too heavy and too made up. Really. It does. This is a much better approach for both the hooded eye, the slightly hooded eye, or the eyelid. Some women are, have a very deep set eye. I'd still take the same approach, unless it's very deep. And there are some cases where they could wear like a color and it would look fine because they have the eye shape for it. But generally speaking, I find that most women this age either have a bit of a lid or they have a hooded eye. Okay? I hope that answers your question okay. And Negro, I've a question about contestant number 13. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but there is no contestant 13 today. That'll be the next time, unless you meant for this one or our previous one. That was contestant number 11. So, but stick around long enough, and contestant number 13 will be coming up in a couple of weeks. Okay, so here we have a question. Cheryl Crevice. My crevices between my eyebrows need Botox, but it is very costly. What can I do? People think I'm angry, but I'm not. Makes me feel self-conscious, even at my age and stage. I understand, Cheryl. Most of us have, they call them hockey sticks, they call them 11s, they call them all kinds of things. Look, you can see mine. One of the things that nobody seems to pay attention to when you have these lines is your eyebrow shape. If your eyebrows are going down here, that's just going to accentuate. You're going to have this look. Do you know what I mean? If your eyebrows are going down, it's going to make you look like you're angry when you're not. I would suggest taking a look at your eyebrow shaping. Take a selfie and study it. And if you want to send it to me on my public beauty page or join the Going Gray page and bring it there, we can certainly discuss it and give some feedback for you. I'm not. This is me. I wouldn't do Botox. I could do it, but I'm not going to do it. Oh, who am I trying to kid? I am the age I'm at. I'm 73, and because I know how to do makeup, I've practiced, that is all. And I've fiddled around and found myself about, 5 or 6 hairstyles I can use depending on my situation. I present well for my age. I'm not trying to look younger, no interest in looking younger. I just want to look the best I am for where I'm at. So, I can feel that soapbox knocking. Can you guys? Botox, fillers, all those sorts of things keep us off the track of who we are, where we are, what we do, how we contribute, and what our relationships are like. Seriously, if we put as much attention to other things in life as we do thinking about what needs to be filled, tucked, plucked, fixed, we would be better off. But that's not to say not to bother at all. There's a fine line, a balance. So I would use the Dual Finish powder that I recommend and take a look at the foundation page, and you'll see what I mean. You'll see how it kind of evens out pores. It doesn't get rid of the lines, but it softens them, makes them look well cared for. I remember saying this about 30 years ago. It just hit me one day, and I thought, I saw a woman who just looked fabulous. Now, this is a woman I worked with, and when she came to work a couple of weeks after, I can't remember, I hadn't seen her for a couple of weeks, and when she came to work, I thought, whoa, she looks amazing. I couldn't figure out what it was. And I studied her like I do. I just studied her. And because she had a lot of wrinkles around this part of her eye. She still had them, but they looked softer and more cared for. And I thought, that's it. What was compelling was that the wrinkles were cared for. When you see a face that is cared for, the underlying message in that gets, put out is that this is a loving person. They care. Does that make sense at all? So trying to get rid of them, I'm sorry, is just a beauty propaganda, make billions of bucks on the backs of, women's manufactured low self-esteem because you have some lines between your forehead. You've lived your life. God knows, how your life has been lived, but you've lived it. And that's part of the badges of having lived. That doesn't mean to say you don't shine up your badges. Okay? I hope that makes some sense. Believe me, the dual finish powder applied, and if you have a spot or an area you've got a deeper crevice, like here's a good example, my nasolabial folds. See how it looks darker in there? Well, if I don't care because it's not what people are drawn to my lips and my eyes. They're not, if they're looking at this, then they're either standing too close to me or something. But what I would do is, because here's a good example, take your dual finish powder that's a couple of shades lighter and use a very thin brush and fill in the center. It's like you see a valley like this. In the deep part of the valley is where you want to have it lighter, so it brings it up. Okay? Just do that, and then your regular powder foundation color over top, and just stipple it on, and just push it in. I hope that helps. And if it doesn't, well, let me know, okay? Thank you. And let me see, Kathy Kitterman. Do you ever use a touch of MAC Naked Lunch or something similar in the middle of your lid? No. No, because the Naked Lunch has a wee bit of shimmer in it. And I think that the lid on an older eye looks better without shimmer. But your matte colors are better. What I do use, though, is I have this green blouse. It's kind of an olive color. And I've had it for like 25 years. But it still is almost as good as it was when the day I bought it. And I bought it because it went with the green in the blouse, because I have green in my eyes. It just looked nice. And I've got a green eyeshadow. Let me see if I can show you. This is a kind of a green. Now, it may look taupe, it may look gray on your monitor, but that's a green. And all I would do with this green is I will add, after I've done my eyes like they are, then I will add a little bit along here, and I will put some just along here, just in the center. Not up the lid, but just along the lash line. Does that make sense? And that's the only one I do. If I, sometimes I have blue, but I don't know, I don't do it. I have, God, I've got a whack of colors, but I don't do it because it could be my lifestyle. And that's another thing to consider, Kathy. What is your lifestyle? Mine is not going out to business anymore. My business is online. My monkey business is online. And I attend church and things like that. But I'm not out, and I'm not as social as I used to be. So I don't find the need. But if I do have to, I have to tell you, strengthening your lip color a little stronger, making it a little like a stronger red or something, and adding some false lashes, and maybe just intensifying your liner. That'll get you wherever you need to go for whatever situation you're in. Anyway, I hope that answers your question. Okay, Kathy. Thanks for asking. And Cheryl, thank you. I'd rather use makeup tricks. Okay. And Robin, great talk today. I'm happy I caught you. Oh, good, Robin. I'm glad you did too. And let's see, is there any other questions? There doesn't seem to be. So that being the case, where do I want to go next? I wanted to go to questions. But we've already answered all the questions, unless anybody has any. Doesn't look like it. So let me just step on to the next one. A summary. A summary is of your makeup. Remember, you don't need a lot to make you look fantastic and fabulous for any situation. What I suggest here, and I'm going to do a very minimalist look the next time. How you can get by doing very, very minimal, using the same products. You can do a very minimalist look, or you can do red carpet with the products recommended. You don't need any more than that. Okay. I have a couple of questions here, so let's see. Are you fond of boomsticks? No, not at all. They just, no. They're a cream, and no. At this stage, powder is better. Powder is better, and especially given and it's an overpriced product too. And the ways they suggest using it, I don't agree with. So that's why I don't recommend it. With the climate we have, especially in the southern states, it's where it gets really hot. And what am I thinking? Southern states, right here in Toronto, can get pretty darn humid too. So using this product, it doesn't melt. If you're putting on liquids or creams, they will melt. And all liquids and creams must be sealed with a powder, no matter what they say. Okay? Using a dough finish powder, it won't melt. It glows. All right? And if you have to do a touch-up, all you have to do is just touch up. And I've showed you before my little trick for I put some foundation in a little round pan, clean finger or Kleenex, around. That's the touch-up. That's all you need to do. But if you've got concealer underneath and all those sorts of things, then you got a real mess. You have to, for touching up, you don't want to go there, right? You want it easy to apply in the first place, and you want it easy for upkeep. So that's why I go that route. And let's see, Sherry. Hi, Sherry Hill. And Lori Hamilton. How do I get personal tips from you? 60 years old and never really worn makeup. Well, Lori, there's a couple of ways. One of the ways I would suggest is subscribe to and watch the YouTube channel. There's over 300 video tutorials on hair, makeup, extensions, best beauty tips, like really quick little things. And there's also the Inner You, which is all about, the inner beauty. And there's these live streams that have, I try to do a teaching of something and then have a couple of contestants when I do the lives every other week. But that's where I would go, is start watching those, and I'll show you in a minute how to work through the channel. The other thing is, you can join me on either of my beauty pages, and we can talk more there. But really follow this channel, and there's lots there for you, Lori. And good for you for getting at it. And Lily, I'm from Louisiana. Glad I caught broadcast before we lose Wi-Fi due to the storm. Oh yes, I understand. There's supposed to be a massive storm. Blessings to all of our sisters who are going to be in the way of that big storm. Please keep safe, and keep safe with your family and friends too. Okay, so you're welcome, Lori. All right, so speaking of how to get in touch, make sure, if you're not, you subscribe to the YouTube channel, okay? And for those that are interested in the advocacy work that I do, which has been pumped up lately, you can follow me on my advocacy channel. And make sure, please, to like, subscribe and share, please. And if you would give it a thumbs up. YouTube is just, the censorship and everything else that's coming in. If you could do that, it would be really helpful for me, because I don't get paid. I'm not monetized. I receive no benefit. I do this I share my skills with dames in the 45 up category and younger ones too, with the idea that if you've benefited, that you pay it forward with your own time, talent, or treasure, and my daughter's name to somebody in need. Okay? Alrighty. And you can follow me on Facebook, which is a public page, Sharon Danley Beauty, or if a private group, or not private, it's closed group, so only the people inside the group, get to see everything. And it's Going Gray and Loving It. And if you want to make better, you can post a picture on either one of those pages. You have to join the Going Gray group first and make sure you answer the question, or I don't let anybody in who doesn't answer the question to know what the group is all about and how we operate, okay? So you can certainly do that, or you can put a picture up on my beauty page or contact me through my public beauty page with a picture and I will take it from there. All right, now, as far as the channel is concerned, this is the main page. Do you notice where there's playlists? You can go to the playlist directly, or you can go to the search. Just type in what you want and it will come up. Alrighty? If you go to the playlists, they're all listed there for you and they're category combined. So everything on makeup is together. Everything on hair is together, and so on and so forth. Alrighty. So our quote for this week, well-styled natural gray hair is a statement in strength, self-acceptance, and healthy confidence. Alrighty, I see we have a couple more questions, so let's just take a look. And Lori let's put you here, Lori, where I can see behind all my little things here. You are so right. It's very hot and muggy here in North Carolina, and the powder works much better than the creams. Thank you for that confirmation, Lori. Much appreciated. And from Dana, you are very helpful. Many thanks. You're most welcome, Dana. And Lori Thompson, new follower here, you mentioned the powder foundation in humid climates, but do you also recommend them for arid high altitude areas? I recommend them for everything. Lori, honestly, the trick with it is just to make sure you put on your moisturizer, whatever it is, over a clean face. And here's something else, ladies. Cleansing your face thoroughly every evening is essential. It's essential for good skincare, and then rinse with warm water in the morning and apply your moisturizer. Give it about 5 minutes. Sorry, I have to have a little bit of caffeine. Saturday morning caffeine. There's nothing like it, is there? Let that soak in a little bit and then apply the dual finish powder on just about any climate. It should be just fine. It's the bomb. And Kimberly Dale, I get so overwhelmed and not sure where to start with my makeup. Not sure how to choose the correct foundation color. Well, what you can do, Kimberly, is go to your MAC counter. I'm just going to move this over here. No, maybe I'll go here. Go to your local MAC counter and test, okay? Have a clean face from here down. Test the dual finish powder. Take a selfie and go out into the natural light, and not directly in the sunlight, but natural light. Excuse me. Take another selfie and make sure that it's matching, okay? If it's not, go back in and try another one until you get it right. That's the best way. It's really hard online to do this, but that would be the thing that I would recommend. And I'll tell you, most women, most Caucasian women who follow this channel, most of them would fall into a light warm or a light cool, generally speaking. Now, There's products, of course, for our Middle Eastern sisters or our Asian sisters that have a little bit more yellow in them, and our Black beauty sisters. There's this same products are in much darker colors too. They have them with red undertone, and they have them more with a golden undertone. But you have to test drive. Once you've got it, then you will. All you have to do is just reorder. Once you've got it, that's the thing. But if you don't know what it is, and you're going to have to do a little testing yourself to make sure that you get the right color. Okay. All right. I hope that helps. Well, it seems like we have come to the end of our time here. Let me see. Is there anything else here that I wanted to say? I can't think of anything. I just want to say thanks for joining me today. It was a pleasure to keep your company and communicate with you as always. Please remember to take good care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones and your little corner of the world. Do the best you can. And if you've benefited in any way, please pay it forward in my daughter Andrea Main's name to help somebody somewhere with something. Okay? Next week it will be a video. I'm not sure what yet, but it'll be something. In the meantime, take good care. Thank you. Mwah, and we'll see you next time.